I talk, you listen, or you turn the channel. Either way, I'm still gonna talk. Hey, welcome to Unfiltered. Just trying to find a few interesting, useless facts for later. Oh, what do I want to start? Let's start where I always start, Cheshire TV. I'll give you an update because we've got some new shows coming up that they sound pretty interesting. Of course, this week saw the premiere of Gender Vision, which is a show that comes out of Beverly, Mass. It's all about gender and sex issues, a lot of transgender issues, gay and lesbian issues. I believe it's going to cover. Looks like a fairly well put together show. A nice looking set. Looks like it's pretty well made. So that one's already started. Another one we have coming out of the Concord area is a show called The Sky This Month. Going to tell you all about what to look for in the sky. I don't know if it's going to cover satellite passings, space station passings, the shuttle passings, or if it's strictly just in is it astronomical, right? No. It's astronomical. Yeah. All right. Yeah, astrology is the horoscope stuff, and I don't think it's going to have any of that. But I'm pretty sure they'll tell you, if Jupiter's going to be visible or, that kind of stuff. Sounds very good. Hot and cold insulation. From what I understand, that's kind of a home improvement, this old house kind of a show, which should be good. I mean, why watch a show that, Home Depot is paying some guy to make when you can watch something that's made by local people just like you, and putting it out there for nothing, Cooking shows are the same way. We run a couple of great cooking shows. Cooking with Marie is all right. Grill Dog is just, he's turning into one of my favorites. Yeah. These Food Network guys, they don't hold a candle to the Grill Dog. I mean, well, maybe, one or two of them do. But Grill Dog's great. He's got a good gimmick. Of course, we have Luca right here from Keene, who does a great show, and I believe that he's going to be starting to make new episodes within the next few months also. So, and then he should be pretty regular. So it's a good thing. Specials we've got coming on. We've got the Keene Middle School January Jazz that's going to air. We've got the Keene High School Small Ensemble Concert that's going to air. We've got the Pay the Rent event that we did out at the Best Western. A couple of comedians, belly dance troupe. That will air within the next month. So exciting things coming up. And of course, springtime's rolling around, which is when we get a little bit more active with going out in the public and doing, the larger events. Who knows? Maybe this year we'll be able to cover the Memorial Day Parade. I don't know, maybe. We will cover graduation as usual. I would like to talk with Chris and Randy about the possibility of a combined type show from Project Graduation, to let the public maybe see some of the things that are available to our students. I mean, Project Graduation's been around at least 15 years.
Longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I know it wasn't around when I graduated high school.
88 was, my wife won a car for 88.
88?
She won one of the big prizes.
Oh, okay.
So it's before that, too.
All right, because I know 79, there was no Project Graduation. It was just like after graduation, go out and party. And there was nothing going on with the school. It was like after graduation, get off the grounds, don't come back until, school starts. But project graduation's a great thing, and I happened to attend one with a band back in the 90s. I roadied for a band that played, and it was great because they have bands and games and, all different types of things under one roof with no drugs and no alcohol. And that's not to say that people that came, weren't already under the influence of something, but they kept a pretty good lid on things. And
They also were very well fed. They serve pizza.
they serve all different kinds of stuff.
Chinese.
And it's all night long. What a great way to end your high school career or high school stay or whatever. I don't know. But that's something I'd like to do. And then, of course, summer, I'm running out of credit clips because it's too cold to go out and shoot footage outdoors. Although the last couple of days, I've got to tell you, I don't know. And so far today, nothing bad's happened. But, we'll see. Day's still young. Friday the 13th, for any of you who are just catching up and you turned on the TV at 6 o'clock tonight and haven't realized exactly what the date was. So tomorrow, for any of you poor schmucks that are watching this show at 6 o'clock Friday night, and you haven't gotten your wife or girlfriend or significant other their Valentine's gift, all the good stuff's gone. Sorry. Get her a bag of, one of them fancy bags, M&Ms or something. 7-Eleven, I think, has got some cheesy stuff. For all your last minute schmucks. And no lingerie. Women do not like to get lingerie. Guys, we like to give lingerie because it's simple and it is basically saying, here's a present, which is the promise of me getting some. Another thing, your penis is not a present, guys. Don't just wrap a bow around it because it's not right. Take it from somebody who knows. I tried it when I was married. I was poor. There was some ribbon hanging around. A little time on my hands. So, it's novel once, but some guys just want to do that every year, and the wife gets sick of it. If you want to give your wife a really nice present, it's Saturday. Do the dishes. Vacuum the floor. Clean the gutters. Do something on your to-do list, Help her out. Take the kids and go off somewhere and let her enjoy some time. And these cheesy-ass coupons, that you write out yourself that say, I'll give you a free manicure and pedicure, myself. Forget it. They don't want that. Spend the $50, get her an appointment at a salon, none of the I'll give you a massage thing, because in 5 minutes, you're done giving the massage and you're ready for her to reciprocate. No, it's not the way it works. Valentine's Day, treat her nice. Get her a big rock or something. Of course, no, never mind. The economy's not good enough for jewelry. All right, ladies, sorry. Sometimes homemade gifts are the best, and if you're a guy and, if you're a woodworker, don't make her a coaster or something like that, She probably got, the last thing she needs is another damn bookcase from you. Maybe make her dinner. Don't make her dinner this way. Yeah, I'd like this delivered. Make her dinner in front of the stove. Bust out a cookbook, exactly. Watch a cooking show. Cook her dinner. And then after dinner, I don't know, maybe you'll get lucky, maybe you won't. But you should do the dishes also. Don't cook dinner and expect her to do the dishes. Although it is Valentine's Day, and it should be a 50-50 thing. All right? So, ladies, take care of your guys. Some gift tips for you. Forget the funny pattern silk boxers. They're stupid. If we wear them, we only wear them the one day and just for you. And then they get rolled up, thrown in the drawer forever. You know, you pull them out 10 years later and go, oh yeah, I remember these. Throw them away. Because silk boxers aren't even good for cleaning. Cotton boxers are good for cleaning anyway. You can rip them up and make rags out of them. But now, forget the silk boxers. I don't know what guys, you know, I don't know what I'd want. Candy, probably, you know. 6-pack of beer. Or maybe a handmade coupon. Girls, you can get away with the handmade coupons as long as they're the right type. You make a handmade coupon that says, I will leave you alone on a Sunday so that you can watch the entire game and I will not open my mouth. Something like that. You can give them a coupon that says, I will spend one entire weekend nude as your slave. You know? So one guy wouldn't die for a present like that. I don't know. The stupid ideas. Or you could just, I mean, help out Hallmark, for God's sakes. You know? Buy a Hallmark card. Because then we'll have to freaking have a Hallmark bailout. If Hallmark doesn't sell enough cards, they'll jump on the bandwagon and go, we need some money too. That's right. See, e-cards are big. Again, stupid, but big. E-cards are cards that you send over the email, where you can look at them, ha ha ha, delete them. You know, whatever. But I don't know. You can't put money in an e-card for one thing. You can't even put scratch tickets in an e-card. And yet I hate real cards too. You know, e-cards are just stupid. And real cards, I remember as a kid, Christmas time, my mom would do this whole big thing around the doorway or on the shelf, you know, with all display all the cards. You know, when you get a card, you display it. And people do that. I noticed you do that for birthdays, Andrea. You display the cards so that people that come over can look at your cards and go, it's funny. That's a funny one. That's a sappy one. And you notice that people don't necessarily read the more serious-looking cards that you get, but they'll pick up your funny ones and read them. Because they're not interested in the sappy stuff that made you cry. You know, they're interested in the funny stuff. But I get cards these days and I like look at them and then I just set them down. Because I feel like I should keep them. But eventually they just end up in a pile of stuff that I look at in 3 months and go, look at all this stuff. You know, I haven't touched the pile in 3 months. I don't even go through it. I just pick it up and throw it away. Because if I haven't touched it in 3 months, chances are I don't need it. So, anyway, that's the Valentine's Day stuff anyway. Just be good to each other, love each other. I don't know. But don't go overboard. I don't know. See, Valentine's Day is hardest for the polygamist, apparently. Imagine having to get 30, 40, 50 Valentine's cards, you know, for your wives.
Keep the name straight, too.
And keep the name straight, yeah. All right. What are we, 15 minutes in? Yeah. All right. Can we, let's, there was like a NASCAR race or something this past weekend on Saturday night.
Yep.
And I can't remember what I did. I had such a rough week. I think I went home and just went to bed on Saturday night. but I know you guys watched, and
We tried to watch it as well, and we ended up, Andrea ended up with a bad headache, so we set the DVR to record the show as scheduled, and that was my mistake right there, because we tried to watch it on Sunday, and we ended up about 13 laps shy of catching the whole show.
see, and
so
you should know better.
I should know better. So when we were getting ready to come on down here, they were still running the Twin 150s Thursday, so we had to sit home and watch that real quick and make sure that I got it all, because I set it up for 2 hours longer than it needed to be just to make sure I got it all. So we didn't want to miss any of that one. That one's important. But yeah, like I just mentioned, they run the Twin 150s and they come out pretty well. That's going to set the qualifying order for the Daytona 500. But we'll let Andrea give you what little information we gathered before we come out the door to come on down and do the show tonight. So hang on just a moment here.
Okay, first of all, the winner of the Bud Shootout that we missed the end of was Kevin Harvick. And then on Sunday, when they did the qualifying, it was really cool for me because I was right on the edge of my seat because Martin Truex Jr. took the pole. And, of course, when I told one of my sons that, he said, "Mother, I have no idea what you just said because I don't understand a thing about racing." You see, even though I'm into it, my kids aren't. But anyways...
Why would anybody want to get the pole?
Yeah, and that's what he said, is why would anybody want to get a pole? So that shows you just how much he knows. Now, if you told him that Tiger Woods won the Masters, he'd have understood that, because he's into golf. But anyways, with the dual 150s that were run, it was really kind of cool because Jeff Gordon won the first one. And it was so cool because his little girl, who's just about 18 months old, was right there in, she was his trophy. So that was really cool. But the two guys that raced their way into the first one was Tony Stewart, and the second one was Scott Riggs. Now, Tony Stewart, a lot of people don't understand, he started off this year with no points, so he actually had to race his way into the 500. So Tony Stewart and Scott Riggs are in the 500. Now, the winner of the second one was Kyle Busch. The little shrub, the little skunk, but he can drive. And let me tell you what, I still have not eaten those M&Ms, and I'm not going to eat them as long as they sponsor him. But Jeremy Mayfield and A.J. Allmendinger are the two cars that race their way in. So that was really kind of nice. So right now we have the 35 guys that were locked in. We now have those 4. And honestly, we had to leave before we could find out what the final lineup is, so I don't know who the other ones are, the last 4 that will be in the 500. But it's going to be on Sunday. I believe it's at 3 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, I had it right in front of me, but then I moved it. 3:30, I'm sorry. The Cup race is Sunday at 3:30 on Fox. And let's see. The truck race is on the Speed Channel, and I'm not sure what channel that one is, but that'll be 8 o'clock Friday night. And then the Nationwide will be at 1 o'clock, and I honestly don't know where that one's at. God only knows what channel. They switch the channels around so much, I have no idea. But anyway, so this weekend is going to be a real big weekend for racing, but when I started out watching the race, I actually had to sit on my hands because I was so doggone excited. Bruce said that Nationwide will be on ESPN2. So we have the Speed Channel, ESPN2, and Fox that'll be covering all 3 of the races. But anyways, that's pretty much it for right now. So just hang on. Next week I can give you the winner of the 500.
All right.
Junior.
Yeah, not Truex.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm pretty sure it's going to be young Denny Hamlin. Y'all will see. There's like, on top of all the huge things that are going on in the world today, there's a few stupid things. I happened to be watching Fox News channel last night because I figured I needed to get something to talk about on the show today. So when I finally decided I was going to close my eyes and go to sleep, I put it on Fox News. So I figured I'd, take it in as I was sleeping. The whole sleep learning thing is perfect, And Bill O'Reilly was on. Well, he had some girl on from, God, I can't think of the organization now, but it was one of the feminist organizations, Women Media or something. Because apparently Bill O'Reilly was on some show and they were talking about Obama's press conference. And Helen Thomas, I think that's her name. The old lady that's been, I do believe that her first interview was actually Lincoln. I think it was. She's like the oldest, been there the longest, highest press corps person in the room. She gets up and she asks this question. She says, President Obama, do you believe that Al-Qaeda and Taliban terrorists are hiding in Pakistan? Now you tell me, for a reporter who's been around for 100 years, how stupid a question is that at this point in time? Hell, I know that the Taliban and Al-Qaeda are hiding in Pakistan. I knew that 2 years ago. We've been talking in the press about the fact that Pakistan will not let us go in and clean up these little areas. Pakistan's fighting us tooth and nail, but yet we're going to try and stay buddy-buddy with Pakistan. We won't do anything to Pakistan. But that was the question she asked. And Bill O'Reilly was basically making fun of her for asking that question. Because it's just a no-brain question. She might as well ask Obama, did you have French toast for breakfast this morning? Or did this press conference start at 9:14 p.m.? When Bill O'Reilly made a remark that she is 88 years old. And she's been with the press corps for like 50 years or better. Asking questions to presidents. She started asking questions to, I believe her first president was actually Kennedy. I think. Back in the 60s. And Bill O'Reilly went on to say something about her voice. And he kind of cackled a little bit, and he said, that's my impression of Helen Thomas. She sounds kind of like the Wicked Witch of the East. Well, that was what caused this young girl from this feminist group to complain. And all the women's feminist groups were wanting people to complain about Bill O'Reilly making a sexist and ageist joke about Helen Thomas. And this girl was saying, oh, Helen Thomas has been, you should respect her. You should respect your elders and blah, 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 blah. And O'Reilly was trying to say, look, I made a joke about her voice. I didn't attack her character. And if you're going to be so hard on me for making the joke about Helen Thomas, why didn't you say anything when the entire nation was raking Sarah Palin over the coals? Why did no feminist groups jump up and say, you guys shouldn't treat Sarah Palin like that? But all of a sudden it's Helen Thomas, and she's been on the press corps for 50 years. Apparently she is above jokes. Sorry. Nobody's above jokes. You make a joke about anybody. Tax season's coming. Think about all the IRS people that are having jokes made about them right now. I got one here I'm going to read in a little while, too. Yeah. It's a fairly good one. I don't know. But I don't know. Bill O'Reilly and everybody was demanding Bill O'Reilly apologize to Helen Thomas. No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. And I'm not really a Bill O'Reilly guy. Because, I think I'm a little bit more liberal than Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly is over there on the no-spin conservative side, I'm pretty sure. Of course, I find it hard to differentiate these guys. But apparently Fox News is conservative. CNN, I think, is liberal.
CNBC is liberal.
CNBC is liberal?
Yes.
And MSNBC is...
Kind of in the middle.
Yeah, see, I don't know. It used to be when you turn on the news, you could almost guarantee that what you were getting was going to be right down the middle. But not anymore. Now you either get this far end or you get this far end, and I'm the only one still in the middle. Because, I believe abortion should be a woman's choice. I believe in the death penalty. But yet, I believe in, strict immigration laws. And worried about the American people. For one thing, we moved on past Bill O'Reilly now. Slide into the whole economy. $836 billion worth of more bailout. It's another 800 billion, which is on top of the 750 billion that's already gone. That was passed out in December, and these guys pissed it away in no time. And now they want more. And it's one of the big arguments is how can you trust these people that are in charge of the money when they've already clearly had so many chances and nothing's happening. And it's funny because the United States Chamber of Commerce keeps pushing for outsourcing. Send your jobs overseas. I saw a statistic, I want to say it was Microsoft, that like 78% of its technical people are in India. India, where people get paid in pebbles. And
They trade camels for Christ.
camels and goats and chickens.
They worship cows.
Oh, they worship cows. Yeah, that's why you can't trade a cow. Cow is, if you own a cow, you're like God. But no, everything. Half of Hollywood will be in India before long. The movie making industry, slowly but surely. You hear about Bollywood? That's where that is, India. Because people live in mud huts and eat rice, they will do what we're going to charge a company $100 an hour for. People in India will do it for $10 an hour. Because $10 an hour in India is like making $100 an hour here. There's like 6 billion people or something, or a lot of people in like this one city in India that, and their economy is actually, I believe, on the rise. But we were India at one time. We had nothing. Remember, it was called the Old West. People were building their own shacks to live in and eating what they could kill or grow. You keep outsourcing and we will be back to that. The problem is, We won't even be able to grow shit because right now we've got the government paying farmers not to grow stuff. It doesn't seem reasonable. It seems just downright stupid. You know, if you have a farm and you have 40 acres, plant something on it and grow it. Tell the government to kiss your ass. Send their money back to them. Grow whatever you grow and sell it. No, don't grow corn for ethanol. Ethanol is a very bad idea. Soup up the wind power. You know, plant yourself some wind turbines on your farm. Especially, I mean, Christ, Oklahoma could have spun up hundreds of thousands of kilowatt hours here this week with the tornadoes and storms that have ripped through there. You know, they could have, Christ, spiked the meters everywhere, sent out enough power for everybody. But the economy is in the toilet. 31? All right. And I got to cool down. So let's get off the economy. We'll go into the music clip. We'll come back with some more yelling and screaming, I'm sure. Tonight on the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude from the Keene Music Fest 2008, the Midas Ascension.
Thank you.
The Midas Ascension, local kids, good group. I want to jump, well, I should, yeah, let's get into this. Here's how I was just talking about the economy and taxes and death and all that. Yeah, you can go with the email if you want. Just don't forget to turn the luminance off. We don't want to freak out any people tonight. Well, I think last week when I directed No Spin, I had a couple little luminance errors, so, and I mean, their audience is way different from my audience. I don't think their audience probably appreciates the luminance freak out factor. But hey, we're trying. Since I was talking about the taxes, actually let me talk about this first because I saw Governor Lynch on TV, our little elf lord governor. And I only say that, it's not to make fun of the guy, but he's tiny. He's like smaller than like Nadia Comaneci, or whatever her name was. Smaller than a young girl. But he was on MUR Channel 9 today talking about, I guess, New Hampshire. We're going to have to cut some jobs in New Hampshire. The budget's not looking real good for the state. He's thinking about a $30 a month cap for Easy Pass customers. He's talking about raising the Hooksett and Hampton tolls, which is a good thing we live over here, although I was thinking, why don't they put a toll on Route 9? You know, after you come across the bridge from Brattleboro into New Hampshire, put a toll there. Because Route 9 and 101's the main road going across the state. A lot of people travel it. Probably a big revenue source right there. Slap a toll booth up. I don't care. I know a dozen ways to get into Brattleboro, other than the main road. But maybe that would be something to think about. And I know that in this state, I mean, we have very few toll roads in this state compared to some of the other states. And it's all, I believe, just Route 3 and 93 are the only places that we have tolls in the state.
Even at just the major bridges on the major highways that intersect the state, you know, if they throw a quarter toll,
Somewhere.
it makes some serious cha-ching.
Exactly, and we need to do something because the infrastructure, the bridges, they don't last forever.
We don't have a state income tax, so that doesn't help out.
Right. I mean, that's the other idea with state income tax, and I know people scream and yell when they hear those words. State income tax or a sales tax. You know, don't tax my damn cigarettes. Tax toilet paper. Everybody uses toilet paper. Tax something that is equal. Don't just tax cigarettes or just tax porn or just tax alcohol because people have their vices. Tax something that everybody uses equally. It's discrimination. It is discrimination. Taxation with discrimination. That's what that is.
Tax water or something.
Tax water or tax, sewage. Stuff that every single person uses. I mean, and if you tax toilet paper, a family of 5 is going to pay more taxes than a family of 1. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The sin taxes are stupid, though.
But if you make more money than you should don't think, it's not your
Yeah. I mean, you can get out of taxes by not using toilet paper. Go back to the old days. Recycle your newspapers. And then they could tax newspapers. Tax stuff that gets, definitely tax paper. Because paper is basically, you could almost say a limited resource. Because if we use too much at one time, you can't grow it back as fast as you use it. It's a bad thing. I'm just saying tax everybody fairly. I love the flat tax idea where, 10%. of your income is taxed. There's no loopholes, there's no exemptions, there's no special little fairy dust you can sprinkle on your tax form. You know, just because you have so much money for a $8,000 an hour tax lawyer. No. Your taxes are 10%. If you make $100 a year, your taxes are $10. If you make $100,000 a year, your taxes are $10,000. Simple. It will bring in more money, and maybe it will cut down on some of these people's greed. Because if you make $100 million, your taxes are $10 million. No, nothing. No. That's it. No arguing, no figuring. Your income, 10%. You wouldn't even need an IRS for that. All you would need to do is have one dude that everybody's employer could just send, this is how much this guy made. 10% comes out, you get the rest back. No need even to fill out an income tax form. Your taxes get taken out like normal, and at the end of the year, the government looks at your income, takes 10% out of that money, sends you a check for the rest. With computers, it should be easy, because all I got to do is push a button. Highlight your name and push a button. And it goes, toot, 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 toot. Made this much, 10% is this much. They took out this much, subtract, send them a check for this. And the computer probably even prints out a check. These people probably don't even sign checks anymore. They just stamp them. Or the machine does it for them. Oh, well. Now I bitched some more. Let me read this joke that Andrea gave to me. Because it is the tax season. And apparently at the end of last year, I think it's last year, the IRS sent an inspector to audit the books of a synagogue. And while he was checking the books, he turned to the rabbi and said, I notice you buy a lot of candles, Rabbi. What do you do with the candle drippings? The rabbi said, oh, good question. We save them up and send them back to the candle makers, and every now and then they send us a free box of candles. Oh, the auditor said, although he was a little bit disappointed that he didn't catch the rabbi, because you know all the IRS people, they want to catch the rabbi with his hand in a cookie jar. But he kept checking the books, and in an obnoxious way, he says, what about all these matzah bread purchases? What do you do with the crumbs? And at this point, the rabbi knows that this guy is just trying to find something. Typical government agent. Oh, yeah, replied the rabbi. Because the rabbi knew that he was, the IRS guy's trying to trap him. He says, oh, yeah. He says, what we do is we collect all the crumbs, we send them back to the matzah company, and every once in a while, they send us a free box of matzah balls. Matzah bread, matzah balls, whatever. Oh, I see, said the auditor, thinking hard about how he could fluster the know-it-all rabbi, you know? Finally, he says, well, Rabbi, what do you do with all the leftover foreskins from the circumcisions you perform? Rabbi went, well, here too, sir, we do not waste. What we do is we save up all the foreskins and send them to the Internal Revenue Service. And about once a year, they send a complete dick. They do. Yep. All right. Anybody see this story about the YouTube, the father that put his kid on YouTube? It was, I think I saw it last night. Apparently this guy's kid had a tooth pulled and was under anesthesia. And when they left the dentist's office, the father put the kid in his car seat in the car and then turned on the video camera to film the kid in his little stupor. And I don't know how long this tape lasts. I didn't go on YouTube and watch it because I don't like to perpetuate stupid crap like this.
How old was the kid?
The kid was young, like 4, 5, 6 maybe.
Maybe kindergarten.
But the father was like, it was a huge joke. And now there's people complaining that, you know, it's not the right thing to do.
It could be considered abuse.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, child exploitation.
It's definitely like child exploitation. If you put any kind of film of your kid on YouTube, it's exploiting the kid. I mean,
Certainly not being a protective parent.
and it's one of my arguments against the internet again. You know, there was some big, I can't remember what I saw it on, but they were, it was USA does their little character profile thing. They profiled the guy that founded Wikipedia.
Okay.
Wikipedia should have been the end of the internet. Wikipedia should have been the only thing ever put on the internet. Because what he does is he collects information about everything.
It's a big encyclopedia.
It's a huge encyclopedia, virtual encyclopedia.
That and email.
And, I mean, there's another story, I can't remember if it's here in New Hampshire or if it was in Massachusetts, but a bunch of middle school kids are all in trouble because one 13-year-old boy took a nude picture of his 13-year-old girlfriend or something and then texted it to all his friends and it circulated through the school. And these kids, there's talk that they're going to be charged. It's called, I can't remember what the name of it is. Sexting. Sexting. Because they're doing it on cell phones. Huge argument for why 13, 14-year-old kids should not have cell phones.
They're also looking into charging with porn.
They're also charging, child pornography. Yeah. As soon as you press the send button, that's distributing pornography right there. Yeah. And it's dumb. Let's get back to the old days. You know, there was none of this instant nothing. You know, Christ, when I was in the middle school, you had to, there was nothing that a middle school boy could do to get a girl out of her clothes in front of a camera. When I was in school, you know, it just wasn't, you didn't think about that. Girls that took their clothes off in magazines for pictures were professionals, and, you know, regular people didn't do that. I don't know. A-Rod has admitted to using steroids and lying to Congress about it. But then, who hasn't lied to Congress lately? Seems like that's the big thing.
Yeah, why should Congress care?
Yeah, see, I still haven't figured out why Congress even cared about all these baseball players. But it's...
Congress should not care about baseball. They should care about the welfare of the country.
Exactly. But apparently, you know, he lied to Congress. He took steroids back in the 90s
When he was on the Rangers.
when he was playing for the Rangers. Never took any when he played for the Yankees, apparently. Although plenty were offered to him, I bet. My point is, it's something that, look, when you tell an 18-year-old kid that he's got at the most, a 20-year career in baseball, and he's got to hit 800 home runs in order to have any kind of titles, you damn sure have to do something to help your performance. Because a normal guy, no records will ever be broken ever again. They've gotten to that point where I mean, you can only run so fast, you know? And yeah, it was a 4-minute mile. Has the 4-minute mile been broken yet? I don't think it has. But, I mean, you don't see guys out there, you know, none of these runners are being accused of taking steroids, but you can damn sure bet if somebody breaks that 4-minute mile, he's going to be tested for everything in the book. Because it's impossible for a normal person. And we know that. Speaking of performance-enhancing drugs, Michael Phelps has been indulging a little bit. Now, I just want to remind everybody that a couple of years ago during the Winter Olympics, I believe it was a Canadian snowboarder, was busted for using marijuana, and it was determined that marijuana is not a performance-enhancing drug. Marijuana can do nothing but hurt your performance. That's what they've been telling me for 30 years. Don't smoke pot. You'll have no ambition. You'll forget things. And apparently Michael Phelps can still kick ass in a swimming pool when he's all hied up. I don't know. You would think that a swimmer, it would be the worst thing for. But I don't know. And if I was him, I would just tell everybody, look, my trainer gave this to me. He didn't tell me what it was. I just took it. Like the good athlete that I am. Just following orders. And I can't recall anything else. Remember, I smoke pot. But this has led, this story, I mean, for one thing, it's a stupid story because we've got so many other great, you know, life-endangering things going on. But apparently it was at a party, and somebody took a cell phone picture and posted it somewhere of Michael Phelps smoking a bong. For any of you that don't know, a bong is a water pipe. It's shaped like a tube. It has a bowl coming out of it. You put your mouth over the big part and inhale the smoke through the water. It bubbles up, makes a cool sound, and then you take your finger off the hole and get this burst of smoke into your lungs. Then you hack and cough for a while, and then it's really cool. All right. So anyway, that picture led to Michael Phelps getting in trouble. They didn't take his 8 medals away, though. But he got in trouble, and I heard that it was either 7 or 8 other people in South Carolina where this happened were arrested, some for possession of marijuana. One guy got arrested because he tried to sell the bong that was in the picture on eBay for $100,000. Now, believe me, a plastic bong isn't worth any more than $20, no matter whose lips were on it. Really. I mean, basically a dime a dozen. Now, you go out and some of the nice glass bongs, yeah, those run into the hundreds, thousands maybe. But not just a simple little pass around at the party bong. Not worth $100,000. So the guy got busted, and Michael Phelps is in trouble. They suspended him from competition for, I believe, 2 months or 3 months. The biggest thing, which I think is a hoot, is Kellogg's ended his endorsements. They ended his contract for endorsements. They say it's because Kellogg's is a family company. And at this point, apparently all the pot smokers are boycotting Kellogg's because they think it was a pretty shitty thing to do. I do too. So I will, like my fellow potheads, I will boycott Kellogg's products. And I really hate to because I really loved that tiger. I did. Great guy. I'll have to start eating Post cereals, General Mills or something. Maybe General Mills will pick up Michael Phelps. He would look really good with the Lucky Charms leprechaun. See, and it could be a great commercial. The leprechaun could jump in a boat and start putting away, and Michael Phelps could swim after a little dude and catch him. He would probably be the only guy that chased the little leprechaun that caught him. But yeah, I mean, and I think, look, the simple fact is, potheads eat a lot of cereal. We don't even bother putting milk on it. Right out of the box. Handfuls. So Kellogg's, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. One good pothead can eat as much cereal as 3 little kids. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe Keebler could pick up. No, I think Phelps is too big to fit in the tree. That's why Keebler hasn't got him. But, you know, Malomar, there's Moon Pie, there's Twinkies. Hostess could probably pick him up.
Little Debbie.
Little Debbie. I mean, Little Debbie has the race car driver, so you know they're into fast stuff. They got Marcus Ambrose and the little koala bear. So you know that Little Debbie's into things that go fast. Michael Phelps goes fast in the water. You know,
Yeah, but it tends to make the moon pie soggy.
the water does make the moon pies soggy. Unless he keeps them under his little stretchy hat to keep them dry. But
90 seconds.
I don't know. It's crazy. And I don't know. I'm just saying, if, you know, if
But I was told Twinkies float, so they would eat.
apparently the only sport that marijuana actually helps is snowboarding, I guess. That's what we discovered. Most burglaries occur in the winter. Ancient Sybarites taught their horses to dance to music to make their parades more glamorous. This is the educational segment. Yeah. At the turn of the previous millennium, Dublin had the largest slave market in the world, run by Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings weren't very nice people. There are fewer than 1,000 giant pandas left alive in the world. The giant armadillo has as many as 100 teeth, although they are small and fragile. All right, 20 seconds left. Up next on No Spin is State Representative John Hunt, going to talk about I believe the Republican side of the state representative stuff. Well, thank Mom's Tattoo, Gemini Screen Print. Till next week, peace.